Hey, what's up everyone? It's Kendall from Bucket List Survival. In today's video, I'm actually going to replace the bottom bracket in this giant FCR2. I'm getting ready to sell this bike. I buy, fix, and sell bikes as like a side business hobby, so I do a lot of these. But I already tore out the bottom bracket in this bike just because as I was taking it on a test drive, I could hear that bottom bracket just like creaking and then popping occasionally, and so those bearings had actually gone bad. So this is actually the old bottom bracket. It's a RPM BB7420 bottom bracket. So I went to look these up and I was going to order the exact same one, but it was going to take like 2 or 3 weeks to get this same bottom bracket in. So I actually just got one with the same measurements. This is a Sunlight bottom bracket that I'm going to be putting in. Basically measures all the same, it's just a different brand. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this thing in here and see if I can take care of that creaking sound. Alright, first things first, I got to go in here. I noticed there's some dirt and grit in there, so first things first, I got to clean that out. Just simply a rag with some water. Just gonna get this as clean as I can so when I put that new bearing in, everything goes in smoothly and clean. Alright, now that I got that clean, I'm just gonna put a little grease in there just so that that bottom bracket sits in there really well. Just get a little bit of this. I've got Park Tool, it's just a PPL2. Some good polyurea grease. So and I'm kind of biased. I really like Park Tool stuff, hence the hat, the stand, all this stuff. Just specialty bike parts and tools. Alright, now time for the new bottom bracket piece. Take these out. These are actually going to hold the crank arms in. This is called a square taper bottom bracket just because obviously these are square. So I always put it in on the drive side first. You know it's the drive side because you've got the chain on this side. So just go like that. And you actually have to go counterclockwise on the drive side to tighten. It's a little confusing, a little backwards on this side, but the other side will be normal. And I've got this washer that's just going to go in on the flip side. So with these bottom brackets, you got to make sure you get the right size. One way to know you got the right size is just pull out the old one and look at the numbers on that old one, and then you can order your new one. Even if it's the same brand or a different brand, you should be able to get the measurements or numbers off those. Or you can look up your bike online and try and find it there. So, okay, so now that we got that new bottom bracket in, feels nice and snug. It's time to throw good old Sprocket back on. So you don't really need a special tool to get the sprocket back on. These bolts that come with the bottom bracket, actually as you're tightening the bolts, it'll push it back on. So that's kind of neat. And this is a Park Tool tool that is for taking off all these, all the 2 different styles. This just makes it easy. You can use any sort of socket and ratchet. while you're doing this is just make sure that you get this second pedal opposite of this first one. So that one's going down. We'll make sure this one's going up. And installation's just as easy as that. Alright, so after installing it, I noticed that it's not quite shifting to all these gears correctly. So I'm going to have to adjust this front derailleur a little bit just so it can hit all 3 of those gears. There's 2 screws on the top of this derailleur, and those 2 screws are called your limit screws. So like there, I loosened this limit so I could drop down to the bottom chain ring, and then when it overshot, that means this other one is not tight enough and it's letting the chain move too far over. So right now I've got it on that top chain ring and it's kind of grinding on this side of the derailleur, so I kind of need to loosen the wire tension a little bit to move that over that direction, so it's not going to rub as much. So there's 2 ways I can do that. There's a barrel adjuster up on the handlebars up here that I can loosen, and that'll loosen the tension on it, or I could jump onto this cable right here and loosen it. I may have to still do that just because it's got a long ways that it needs loosened. Now I can shift to all 3 gears. Check this back one, make sure I can hit all the gears on there. There's 1. All right. These are working great. And when I'm working on these, I also like to squirt a little bit of WD-40. So I was looking this bike over and I noticed that this front wheel isn't quite centered on here. So I'm gonna go ahead and loosen this thing up a little bit and try and recenter it. So now that I adjusted that, the brake is actually rubbing on this side. So when I pull on that brake, notice that this side is moving a whole lot more than this side. So there's actually a tension screw right here that you can twist, and it'll adjust, it'll tighten the spring and adjust how much that pulls. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this a bit, and then that should make them both move a little bit more. You want them to move about equally. Okay, so spin that. It's not rubbing anywhere. All right. I believe this bike is ready for a test drive. Bike rode great, no more sounds from that bottom bracket. That's super exciting. Front brake worked great, so now I'm just gonna go ahead and clean it up really quick, then I'm gonna go ahead and this bike will be done. helper here. Good girl, Roxy, good girl. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen her in the other videos yet, but I think Roxy's pregnant, huh? About a month or so, and should have some puppies. Thanks for tuning in to Bucket List Revival today. Just for the quick video, installing that bottom bracket on this giant FCR2. Super easy to do, just as long as you got the right tools and stuff. But hey, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so you don't miss any content, and give us a thumbs up. Thanks.